In this lesson, we're going to focus on factoring quadratic trinomials when the leading coefficient is not 1. Here is an example. 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. Now the steps actually start off the same, where the first step is to determine what are your coefficients, your a, your b, and your c. In this case, a is 2, b is 7, c is 3. Make sure you notice that a is not 1, so you cannot jump straight to the parentheses. You're going to add an extra step to where you're determining your product and your sum. Your product is always a times c. The product is always a times c, and your sum is always b. The product is always a times c, and the sum is always b. This part is the same. If the product is 6, let's figure out all of the numbers that multiply to give us 6. Making a list. And these are all of the numbers that multiply to give us 6. Now that I have these numbers, I need to go back and add them up to figure out which one adds up to positive 7. 1 plus 6, that's 7. I got it right on the first try this time. So here's where the steps start to get a little bit tricky. Because when a is 1, you jump straight to the parentheses and you would write x plus 1 and x plus 6 in any order. But because a is not 1, you cannot jump straight to the parentheses. You have to go back to your original problem and rewrite the problem. But this time, instead of writing 7x, I'm going to plug in my new terms or numbers here. So I would have 2x squared plus, instead of 7x, I'm going to write 1x plus 6x in any order plus 3. I have my two new terms here. Now, if I was to add these up, x plus 6x, I do get 7x. So I really haven't changed anything. I've just switched out numbers. All right, so now I'm going to factor this. We factor this by drawing a box. Divide your box into 4 squares. And now I'm going to fill the squares in with all of my terms in order. So I have 2x squared plus 1x plus 6x plus 3. So now, let's find the greatest common factor. 2x squared and x, the greatest common factor is x. Look at the bottom row here. 6x and 3, the greatest common factor is 3. Look straight up and down. The greatest common factor here is 2x. Straight up and down, the greatest common factor is 1. So now, I'm about 99% done. We have x plus 3 and 2x plus 1 is our final answer. X plus 3 and 2x plus 1. Always remember that you could check your work by multiplying these two binomials out. When I multiply them, I should get the original problem, 2x squared plus 7x plus 3. If you do not get the original problem, you did something wrong. Most people don't like to check their work, but that is the only way that you will know for sure that your answer is correct. Now let's actually try this one last time. We're going to try this one last time to make sure that you got it. This time, I'm going to use the example 5x squared minus 7x plus 2. Step 1, identify the coefficients. A is 5, b is negative 7, c is 2. Now realize you could always press pause right now and solve it out yourself, and then press play to check your work. So press pause if you want to try this yourself, or continue watching if you don't know for sure if you got it right. All right, so step 1, find your coefficients. Step 2, find the product and the sum. The product is always a times c. The sum is always b. All right, so I'm looking for all of the numbers that multiply to give us 10. 1, negative 1 and negative 10, positive 1 and positive 10, 2 and 5, negative 2 and negative 5. Now, sometimes your list can go on and on and on, but this is the only way you'll know for sure that you're on the right track. All right, so -1 and -10, that doesn't add up to -7. 1 plus 10, that's 11. 2 plus 5, that's 7. And -2 plus -5, that is -7. So those are the two numbers that I need. So now I'm going to go back to the original problem, but instead of writing -7x, I'm going to rewrite it with my two new numbers here. So we would have 5x squared minus 2x minus 5x plus 2. Now I'm going to draw my box. All right, so I'm looking for the greatest common factor going straight across. And in this case, the greatest common factor is x. The greatest common factor here, -1. The greatest common factor going straight up and down, 5x. Greatest common factor straight up and down is -2. Now, a very common mistake that my students normally make is determining when do I get a negative greatest common factor. I always say if the first box is negative, then your greatest common factor is negative. So notice at the top, there is a negative in the two numbers, but it wasn't the first box. So only make the greatest common factor negative if the first box is negative. Let's write out our answer. X minus 1 times 5x minus 2. Remember, it doesn't matter which order you write this in. So you may also have had 5x minus 2 times x minus 1. Either way, your answer is correct.